Hello, everyone. One of the biggest mistakes people make with Social Security is thinking the rules are the same for everybody. They are not. Your year of birth can change your full retirement age. It can change how much you lose if you claim early. It can change how much you gain if you wait. And in some cases, it can change which mistake is most dangerous for you right now. That is why I do not think seniors should look at Social Security as one big general system. I think you need to look at it by generation. Because someone born in 1948 is not facing the same decision as someone born in 1958, and someone born in 1962 is not in the same position as someone born in 1970. The problem is that Social Security does not always explain this clearly. They give you the rules, they process the application, but they do not always slow down and say, here's the mistake people in your birth year usually make. And that is where a lot of people lose money, sometimes permanently. So in this video, I want to walk through the major birth year groups and explain what I would personally check first if I were in each one. Not just the basic rule, but the real-life issue that could affect your monthly check. Before we get into it, subscribe and turn on notifications if you want plain English breakdowns of Social Security, Medicare, retirement rules, and senior benefits. These rules change often, and the people who hear about them early usually have more time to protect their money. Now let's start with people who are already well into retirement. If you were born between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age was 66. Most people in this group have already claimed Social Security. So the question is usually not, when should I file? The better question is, am I receiving the correct benefit today? And this is something many people never check. From what I have seen, one of the biggest risks for this group is being on the wrong benefit record after the death of a spouse. A widow or widower may be receiving their own retirement benefit when a survivor benefit could be higher. Or in some cases, they may not have asked Social Security to compare both records carefully. That can be a costly mistake. A survivor benefit can be based on what the deceased spouse was receiving. And depending on the numbers, that may be more than the surviving spouse's own benefit. So if you lost a spouse and you never specifically asked Social Security to compare your own benefit with your survivor benefit, I would not assume everything was handled correctly. I would call and ask directly. The question is simple. Can you compare my retirement benefit and my survivor benefit and confirm that I am receiving the higher amount available to me? That one question could matter more than people realize. Another issue for this older group is Medicare cost, especially the income-related surcharge known as IRMAI. This is where Medicare can charge you more because of income shown on an earlier tax return. The problem is that retirement income can change quickly. Maybe you sold a property, maybe you had a one-time investment gain, maybe you did a Roth conversion. Maybe your income was temporarily higher 2 years ago, but today your financial life looks completely different. In my opinion, this is one of the most frustrating Medicare issues because people often keep paying the higher amount without realizing they may be able to appeal it. If your income dropped because of retirement, reduced work, loss of income, or the death of a spouse, Form S, A44 may help you request a review. So for this group, the two big questions are you on the highest Social Security benefit available? And are you being charged too much for Medicare based on old income? Now let's move to people born between 1955 and 1959. This is a very important group because many people here are right around the age where Social Security decisions become permanent. And this is where small misunderstandings can become lifelong reductions. Your full retirement age is not simply 66, and it is not exactly 67 either. It depends on your birth year. If you were born in 1955, your full retirement age is 66 and 2 months. If you were born in 1956, it is 66 and 4 months. If you were born in 1957, it is 66 and 6 months. If you were born in 1958, it is 66 and 8 months. If you were born in 1959, it is 66 and 10 months. That may sound like a small detail, but with Social Security, a few months can affect real money. The mistake I see people make is rounding. They say, I am basically full retirement age, or I am close enough. But Social Security does not calculate your benefit based on close enough. It uses the exact month. If you claim before your full retirement age, your benefit is reduced. And once that early reduction is applied, it usually stays with you for life. That is why I think this group has to be very careful. If you already claimed early, you need to understand how that reduced number was calculated. If you have not claimed yet, you need to know your exact full retirement age before making the decision. There is another important point for this group. If you are still working while collecting Social Security before full retirement age, the earnings test can affect your checks. If your earnings go over the annual limit, Social Security may withhold part of your benefit. That does not always mean the money is lost forever, but it can still create a serious cash flow problem if you are not expecting it. So if you are in this birth year group, I would check 3 things. Your exact full retirement age, whether claiming now would permanently reduce your check, and whether your work income could trigger the earnings test. Now let's talk about people born from 1960 to 1965. For this group, full retirement age is 67. That one number is extremely important, because if your full retirement age is 67 and you claim at 62, your monthly benefit can be reduced by about 30%. That is not a small cut. That is not temporary. That is a lower monthly check for the rest of your life. On a $2,000 benefit, a 30% reduction is about $600 a month. Over many years, that can become a very large amount of money. Now, I am not saying nobody should ever claim early. Some people have health issues. Some people need the income. Some people have family situations where waiting is not realistic. But I do think people should understand the cost before they make the choice. Too many people look only at the first check. They do not think about what that smaller check looks like 10 or 15 years later. Another thing this group should know is that once you reach full retirement age, there may be a retroactive filing option. In some situations, if you file after full retirement age, you may be able to receive up to 6 months of retroactive benefits. That can create a lump sum payment. But there is a trade-off. Your monthly benefit going forward may be slightly lower because Social Security treats your starting date as earlier. So this is not automatically good or bad. It is a decision that needs to be understood before you choose it. For people born between 1960 and 1965, I think the biggest job right now is preparation. Before claiming, check your numbers. Check your full retirement age. Check what your benefit looks like at 62, at 67, and at 70. And, most importantly, check your earnings record. Your Social Security benefit is based on your work history. If 1 year is wrong, missing, or reported incorrectly, your future benefit may be lower than it should be. That is why your online Social Security statement matters. Go through it year by year. Compare it with your own records if you have them. If something looks wrong, try to correct it before you claim. It is usually easier to fix these problems before you are already depending on the check. Now let's talk about people born in 1966 or later. A lot of people in this group may think Social Security is too far away to worry about. I understand that. But I do not agree with ignoring it. In fact, I think this group has one major advantage: time. You still have time to find problems before they become expensive. Your full retirement age is 67. Claiming at 62 can mean a permanent reduction. Waiting until 70 can increase your monthly benefit above your full retirement amount. But the biggest issue right now is not claiming. It is accuracy. Is your earnings record correct? That is the foundation of your future benefit. If you worked many different jobs, changed employers often, had self-employment income, worked during years when payroll systems were less digital, or had employers that later closed, your record is worth checking carefully. A missing or incorrect year may not seem urgent today. But years from now, when Social Security calculates your benefit, that missing income can matter. And the longer you wait, the harder it can be to find proof. Old W-2 forms disappear, pay stubs get lost, tax documents become harder to locate, employers close, records become incomplete. That is why I believe people in this younger group should not wait until age 62 to open their Social Security account. They should check their statement now, not because they are ready to claim, but because they still have time to fix mistakes. So here is the way I would summarize all of this. If you were born between 1943 and 1954, do not assume everything is already settled. Check whether you are receiving the highest benefit available, especially if you are widowed. Also check whether Medicare is charging you extra based on old income. If you were born between 1955 and 1959, know your exact full retirement age. Do not round it. Do not guess. A few months can change your benefit, and claiming early can create a permanent reduction. If you were born between 1960 and 1965, understand the real cost of claiming before 67. Look at the 30% reduction in actual dollars, not just percentages. Also check your earnings record before you file. And if you were born in 1966 or later, your most important move right now is simple. Open your Social Security statement and review your earnings history while you still have time to correct it. The main lesson is this: Social Security is not just about age, it is about timing. It is about birth year. It is about work history. It is about whether you know the rule before you make the decision. And unfortunately, many people only learn the rule after the money is already gone. Do not let that happen to you. Check your group. Check your record. Ask the right questions. And before you make any major Social Security decision, make sure you understand how that decision affects your monthly check for the rest of your life. If this video helped you, share it with someone who is close to retirement or already receiving Social Security. A spouse, a parent, a friend, a neighbor. One correct decision can protect thousands of dollars over time, and one missed detail can do the opposite.